So ammeter is always connected in series with the resistance. Any circuit you take, ammeter is always in series. Okay. Now look at this voltmeter. Now voltmeter is parallel to the resistance. How do you make out whether it is a parallel resistance? One end of the voltmeter is connected to one end of the resistance. This line that you see is actually a wire. Okay, it's a conducting wire. So one wire goes from this end to the resistance. The other end of the voltmeter goes to the other end of the resistance like this. So both are holding hands like this. So this kind of combination is called as parallel combination. So please remember, ammeter is always in series with the resistance and voltmeter is always in parallel with the resistance. Why voltmeter should be connected in parallel is because voltmeter needs to have 2 points. Because voltmeter measures the difference between the 2 points, the potential difference between the 2 points. That's why it needs to have 2 points. So only if you connect it parallel, then only it will get 2 points. One point is here, another point is this point. So voltmeter measures the potential difference across this resistance. Is it clear? Now we move to the next and very important law, which is called the Ohm's law. Now there was a German scientist, his name was George Simon Ohm. He came out with Ohm's law. Now what does the Ohm's law talk about? What is the statement of Ohm's law? Ohm's law states that electric current flowing through a metallic wire. What is this metallic wire? This metallic wire is that line that I had shown you in the previous. This line that you see, these plain lines that you see, which are connecting all these equipments, the voltmeter, the ammeter, the battery and everything. This line represents the wire. What kind of wire is this? It's a metallic wire or a conducting wire. Okay. Now look at the Ohm's law. Electric current flowing through the metallic wire is directly proportional to the potential difference. Now, in this statement, I've written the statement in words. Now I will transform the statement into an equation. Now look at this. It says electric current flowing through the wire is directly proportional to potential difference. This is the electric current is directly proportional to potential difference. So I am writing the same statement in an equation form. The electric current I flowing through a metallic wire is directly proportional to potential difference. Okay, is directly proportional to potential difference. Now if you want to, so what is the equation I get? I get V is directly proportional to I, or I can write I is directly proportional to V, which means if I increases, then potential difference also increases. If I reduces, which means potential difference also reduces. Who will control the current? What will control the current? You can potential difference. Exactly potential. Who provides the potential difference? Who creates that potential difference? Battery. Absolutely correct. It is the battery which provides so now you understand what is the difference, what is the relationship between potential difference and current. More the potential difference, more the current. Lesser the potential difference, lesser the current. So have you seen in your stabilizer, so if you increase the potential difference, the current also increases. Sometimes you want to increase the voltage, you make your V, you increase your V. So when you increase your V, your current also increases. Okay. Now if I have to remove this proportional sign and I have to put an equal to sign, always I have to put a constant there. Didn't we learn it in class 9th also? Anytime you have a proportional sign, you want to remove it and put an equal to sign, you have to put a constant. So V is equal to I, and what is the constant here? R is the constant. This R is called the resistance. Okay? This R is called the resistance. So in your electric circuit, what is the resistance? This is the resistance. This is always a constant. It will not change. Okay, and I have shown you how the resistance looks like. Whatever resistance you attach, it will remain the same. So R is the constant here. Now it is called the resistance. So I can write this V is equal to IR. This formula is Ohm's law. V is equal to IR. Very important. please box it, underline it, highlight it. V is equal to IR is the Ohm's law. And from this I can take out R. I can calculate the value of R. R is equal to V upon I. This is V upon I will give me a constant which is nothing but your resistance. Okay? Now you know that V and I are directly proportional. Means if you increase V, your I will also increase. So what Ohm did is he conducted an experiment in which he increased his potential difference and he observed his current, the current in the electric circuit. So what he did is, when his potential difference in the circuit was 0.4, look at this. So on the y-axis I have potential difference, on the x-axis he plotted current. Okay, V on the y-axis and current on the x-axis. He started increasing his potential difference. Then he saw that in fact the current was also increasing. So every time when he increased his potential difference, he saw that the current was also increasing simultaneously. So V increased, I also increased. V increased, I also increased. So when he connected all these points, he got a slant straight line like this. Okay, where all have you seen these kinds of this kind of similar graph in your previous class also?
Uniform motion.
Uniform motion. Very good. It was in uniform motion graph. Okay. So if suppose you take this wire as copper wire or any kind of conducting wire, and if you get a graph like this, okay, if you get a straight line like this, slant line like this, that means that conductor is called ohmic conductor, which means that this conducting wire that you're using is a ohmic conductor. It follows the Ohm's law. It perfectly satisfies the Ohm's law. But there are other conductors which do not follow the Ohm's law, which it means if you increase your potential difference, it may happen that the current may not increase uniformly. Okay, so those conductors are called as non-ohmic conductors. Ohmic conductors and non-ohmic conductors. You can actually calculate the slope of this graph. If you calculate the slope, you take any 2 points. You take this point and this point. Okay. Now in these 2 points, calculate the difference in the voltage. What is V upon what is I? Whatever is V upon whatever is I, you will get R. And that's why R will always remain constant, because it is a constant. Okay, so that is Ohm's law. So now you understand what is ohmic conductors and non-ohmic conductors. Ohmic conductors will always follow Ohm's law. Non-ohmic conductors may not follow Ohm's law as accurately as the ohmic conductors will follow. Resistance is the property of a conductor to resist the flow of charges through it. So resistance, I told you in the last class also, it's a kind of obstruction. Okay, it's a kind of huddle in between. So suppose this is a wire, conducting wire, and these red color circles that you see are the electrons. Now suppose you stand in front of these electrons and you are obstructing the flow of the electrons. So you become the resistance. I gave you an example of if you're going to the school and somebody blocks your way, then he becomes a resistance for you. So resistance is the property of a conductor to resist the flow. Resist means to stop the flow, to obstruct the flow of charges. Okay, so now if you understand that resistance is obstructing the flow of charges, please tell me, a high value of resistance will block the charges more, or a low value of resistance will block the charges more? Okay,
High.
Very good. High. It means the more stronger you are in between, you are the resistance, the more stronger you are, the more number of electrons you will be able to stop. And resistance is your property, means you are as strong. So if I keep a resistance which is of a very high value, it will be able to block the flow of electrons. Okay, so what is the unit of resistance? The SI unit of resistance is ohm. We write ohm like this, OHM, but the Greek letter of ohm is like this. So this is called as ohm. Okay, this is the unit, and you know the formula of resistance. It is equal to V upon I. V is your potential difference in volt and I is the current in ampere. Now look at this. So what is 1 ohm of resistance? How do you define 1 ohm of resistance? Look at this. First I write the formula. Now this is 1 ohm of resistance. How do I define? When the potential difference across 2 points is 1 volt and the current which flows through the resistance is 1 amp, then the resistance is 1 ohm. Resistance is the property to restrict the flow of charges. Now look at this. If you have good conductors, what are good conductors? Good conductors are those conductors which will allow the flow of electrons through them or which will allow the current to pass through them. So suppose suppose you take copper or you take silver or you take whatever, okay, any conductor. Now if it is allowing the current to pass through it, what should be its resistance? Its resistance should be very less. If there is a wire which is a good conductor, it will allow more and more current to flow through itself and it cannot restrict the flow of current. So all the good conductors will have low resistance.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Plastic is an insulator, wood is an insulator. Okay. So yeah, it will not allow any electrons to flow. It will not allow any current to pass through them. Okay. So insulators are high resistance. Conductors are low resistance.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, so you understood what is conductor? You understood if it is a good conductor, he will have less resistance. If it is a bad conductor, he will have more resistance. So now the next question is, on what factors the resistance depends? The first factor is a type of material. If it is a plastic,
High resistance. High resistance.
yeah, high resistance. So first factor is material of the conductor. Okay. Next factor is the length of a conductor. Now you see, conductor means a wire. Okay, all of you. Conductor means a wire. Now I have made this wire this thick so that you are able to understand. Otherwise the wires, you know how thin they are. Okay. So I have taken 2 conductors here. Same conductor, same material. Let's say both are copper. But in one the length is very big. In the other the length is very small. Okay. Longer the road, more the traffic. Shorter the road, lesser the traffic. Same goes with the resistance also. Longer the conductor, more the resistance. Shorter the conductor, lesser the resistance. Please make a good note of these points. Longer the conductor, more the resistance. Shorter the conductor, lesser the resistance. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next factor is cross section. Now please understand what is cross section area. When I say area, do not think the area in between this wire. No. Cross section का मतलब है ये side वाला area. This portion is called cross section area. Only this portion is called cross section. Not in the center, this area. No. Okay. Here also the cross section is this. Only this portion. So suppose if I take a conductor. Okay. Now this time I have made the length same. The length is the same. But what is different? The different is the cross section area. Here the cross section area is more. Here the cross section area is very less. Now again, if you are traveling on a very narrow road, will you encounter more traffic? Or if you are traveling on a very broad 4-lane or 8-lane highway, will you encounter more traffic? In which case will you encounter more traffic?
Ma'am, in narrow road.
Exactly.
Narrow.
So the same is lesser the cross section area. Look at this. Lesser the cross section area, more the resistance. Okay. More the cross section area of a conductor, lesser the resistance. Okay. So now you have seen both the cases. You have seen this case where the length matters. More the length, more the resistance. Lesser the length, lesser the resistance. Similarly, smaller the cross section area, more the resistance. More the cross section area, smaller the resistance. Okay, if you have understood this, can I write resistance is directly proportional to length? Can I write resistance is directly proportional to length? How? More the length, more the resistance. Okay, lesser the length, lesser the resistance. So resistance and length are directly proportional. Similarly, what about the area? Is the area directly proportional or indirectly proportional?
Inversely proportional.
Inversely proportional. So I have to exactly very nice. So I have to write R is proportional to 1 upon area. 1 upon area. Okay. If I have to combine both, I can write it like this. R is proportional to L by A. Length upon area. I have combined both. So we have to convert this proportional sign into equal to sign. So then I have to add a constant here. Okay. So this is one constant. It is written as, it is known as rho. 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 And is called electrical resistivity of a material of a conductor. Okay. R is the resistance, rho is the resistivity. What is resistivity now? Resistivity is a property of a material. It's a general property of the material. The resistivity of metals are very low. The resistivity of insulators are very, very high. So, are you able to differentiate between resistance and resistivity? Resistivity is the property of the material. Resistance is the property of a conductor. I can take this resistivity on one side and I can write RA upon L. Now, can all of you just quickly do a small calculation in your rough notebooks, and can you tell me what is the unit of resistivity? What is the unit of resistivity?
Ohms meter. Ohm meter.
Ohms meter.
Very good.
Ohm meter. Ohm meter.
Ohm meter. So this is how you calculate the unit of resistivity. Look at these statements. The metals and the alloys have very low resistivity in the range of 10 to the power of minus 8 ohm meter to 10 to the power of minus 6 ohm meter. So metals and alloys will have low resistivity. Similarly, look at this. Insulators. Here, insulators like rubber and glass have high resistivity. Why? Because they are insulators. So they will not allow any current to flow, pass through them. That means they will restrict maximum electrons. That's why, look at the resistivity. Resistivity is 10 to the power of 12 to 10 to the power of 17 ohm meter. Okay, and resistance and resistivity of a material will vary with temperature. How will it vary? We will do it in the next class. Okay, in this class, this much is enough. So, what have we learned today? We have discussed what is resistance. We know what is Ohm's law.
V is equal to IR.
Yeah, V is equal to IR. Then we talked about what is resistance, on what factors does the resistance depend upon. Resistance depends upon
Cross section area of the conductor.
okay, fine. Cross section area, then length of the material, temperature, very good.
Type of material.
Yeah, temperature and type of. So then you have 4 things on which the resistance depends upon. First is your length, then is the cross section area, then you have the material, and then you have the temperature.